So this will be a video pretty much covering Whisper and if she is even worth transcending. I definitely ran her against a plethora of teams really to just answer this question and to see just what she can really do in high-end content, and I've kind of been a little bit, I don't want to say like disappointed or anything, but I just feel like the upgrade that she got wasn't really what she needed, and we'll look into that as the video goes on. But definitely be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and without further ado, one of the first things I wanted to talk about was the bestowed effect that she gets when it comes to the reincarnation. The Pierce and the missile resist is kind of fine, you can stack that in different ways, but the main issue that I have with her is the protection break enhancement. And the reason why I say it's an issue is that the lowering defense and spirit is really good, but instead of it being a skill that gives her more survivability or something along those lines, the only thing it really does is kind of take the place of her taunting spell. One of the first things I really wanted to point out was that Spellblade got an enhancement, so resist magic does raise spirit as well as raising magic attack resistance for the allies. And then when you look at taunting spell, this is something that just has way more range, way more versatility, and even though it really doesn't do as much damage, that wasn't even really the main use of taunting spell. It was mainly used to just gain hate, to aggro the enemy, to get away from your team and to not target your team, and kind of just give them time to do things. Protection break does not have that kind of range, so just alone making those comparisons is just something that is kind of unappealing about taking her to 140. And it's definitely not to say that she's bad. I feel like Whisper as a whole has always just been a really universal tank, somebody that you can just take whatever way you want her to go, depending on your cards, your TMR. Even her reaction ability is just something that is kind of universal. She can tank whatever kind of damage that it is that she needs to. And as a whole, if you're not getting like stats that would benefit her to be evasive, it doesn't do anything for her evasion as well. And I just kind of find that is a little bit disappointing. But if you're somebody like me who already maybe transcended her, or maybe you just want to get a general idea of like what she could do at 140, this will definitely be a video that kind of goes into that. And just, I mean, I already got her there, so I might as well try to explain to the best of my ability what you can do and what she's good for. So outright, Whisper is somebody that you definitely want to build with a theme. It's going to be very important for you to have an idea of who you want her to target and just to build to counter that. So something important are definitely going to be your cards. It's really going to matter to give her the ability to tank damage, something like Demon Wall, Anima, or maybe Omega. They're going to be really key for just giving her some form of survivability with her lack of courage, her lack of re-raise. On top of that, she also lacks accuracy. So if you're trying to target evade teams, she's going to need Black Rose Helena's card, the Persona card, maybe Vanera's card for the Dex and the Luck. So already you can kind of see she's really going to need an expensive build, a lot of limited cards. The Esper is also going to play a huge part. So if you're lucky enough to even have those cards, on top of that, you may want Dwayne's card as well, just for that magic resist. And that was something I kind of want to just go into. She just does better against magic teams. Even though there are characters that can remove her shell, it's really not going to matter that much because it's probably going to draw them to use that technique to remove it in the first place. And that may give her some leverage as far as the damage that they're going to be dealing. From what I've seen, if she does not have the proper amount of slash resist, anybody who has slash resist pin is just going to chew right through her and very much possibly just one-shot her outright. I've seen it happen with Cloud, I've seen it happen with Sephiroth. So if you're going to take the physical route, you're going to want to give her everything that she can possibly have until a point where you can give her nullification to slash damage. The defense and the spirit can be helpful, but at the same time, it won't be enough to keep her alive. Any form of unit attack resist or AoE resistance is also going to really be helpful for her. It also depends on who you're running her with and what kind of buff she can get from her allies. One of the last things I really wanted to talk about were the trust stones and the TMRs that you use just to complement her. This is also going to play a pretty big part. Obviously, Rairyu's TMRs going to be pretty huge for her. If she can get that re-raise, it'll just give them something else to maybe slap off of her. She'll get right back up and possibly get an attack in or something, maybe to lower CT, lower the defense and the spirit, but it's definitely going to be important to keep her on the field. When it comes to her trust stones, she's definitely going to need healing power up. It'll complement her divine shelter and it'll just give her just a little bit more of that heal back, and she's also really going to need that reaction ability up as well, just to give her that sword guard. Once again, you want that to proc as many times as possible. So her getting the Masamune waiting buff from Sephiroth can actually be really clutch, as well as Little Leela the Bold. She's somebody else who can really buff that reaction ability rate up. And if you're like me and you don't have Rairyu's TMR, I really do feel like she can use TMRs from Valentine, Ildira, maybe Kain, or Presaro, anything to give her move up without lowering her hate. So Katone's TMR is not going to be that good, and this is also going to really determine what map that she's on. If you're going to do something like that, you have to put her in a place that she's not outright going to be able to just attack somebody. Maybe you're not going to use Spellblade, because you need her to definitely go into Divine Shelter. That is going to play a huge part in her survivability and definitely help with the lack of AP that she's going to have. It's not that you're going to rely on her attacking a lot, it's just that you do want her to get some attacks in to just weaken the team, lower the CT, lower their defense and spirit. and retain that hate. Possibly land a disable, just something like that to cripple the enemy team. So overall, would I say that she's worth taking to 140? Honestly, it's really debatable. It really depends on what cards you have. She just desires a lot of expensive stuff, a lot of limited stuff. But luckily for the community, some of the stuff that she does need is in the general pool. So if you're lucky enough to get Anima, Omega, or you have Valentine's Day Eldira already built up and you have access to that TMR. But in my opinion, there are just better choices, and I wouldn't recommend her, especially to like newer players or anything like that. There will definitely be units that don't have access to 140 that are just outright going to be better than her, and honestly they can still deal with her pretty easily. But if you have a build in mind and you have the means to make that build, oh yeah, she's definitely going to do her job. She's going to tank the damage. You just may want to make specific templates, maybe one for physical damage and one for magic damage. The last thing I really want to throw out there is re-rolling. If you're going to re-roll her, some of the key stats to look out for are definitely, you know, it's random anyway, but HP is going to be really huge. Magic if you want to use Spellblade, attack if you know, really don't want to. Evasion's gonna be kind of but she's definitely gonna want a lot of dex and a lot of accuracy. Luck is gonna be huge for her as well. But aside from that, that's really all I have to say about her. I hope that you guys, you know, have good luck with building her, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. Take it easy.